The following is from the Agency for Instructional Technology, AIT.
In this program, Paul will introduce the elements of design. Every picture has lines, colors, or shapes, although every picture does not always have every element. When Paul begins to draw, he will make use of the 7 elements of design.
Elements of design. First line, direction, shape, size, tone or value, texture, and finally, color. That's all we have, 7 of them. The elements of design, the elements of drawing. But whether it's a preschool finger painting or a great masterpiece, that's all we have, and it's enough. Now let's take them individually and isolate them, and later we'll put them into a picture. The element of line. A line can be fine, it can be very broad, it can be fine and broad. It can be curved, and it can be in a scribble. Direction. We can take the line now, turn it in this direction, and any kind of line, this direction, this direction, this direction, or it can curve as it has up here, this direction, this direction, this direction. Now shape, the lines can be in shapes. Here we have a geometric shape, another geometric shape, or it can be a combination or an adjustment of those two, or it can be irregular shapes, shapes that we'd use in drawing trees or people. Now size is a comparison. We can compare objects the same shape but different sizes. And that's one of the ways we get distance in pictures. And also we have tone or value. Now there's no line here. This is tone. And texture. Texture is the reaction of light to the surface of an object. Be a great variety of textures. And then the 7th we'll call color. Red, yellow, and blue, the primary colors from which all other colors derive. Let's look at some fine works of art and see how the 7 elements of design appear. First, let's look at line. There's a vertical line for the masts of the ships. There's a horizontal line for the eye level or the horizon. There's vertical lines for the sides of the houses. And then the lines vary in direction. The edge of the sails are in one direction. The roof, the slant of the roof of the house is another direction. So we have quite a bit of direction of line there, even down in the water. Now the shape, there's quite a variety of shapes. The sails are one shape, the house are another shape, the tree is another shape, and there's many shapes in the reflection in the water. As far as tone and value, here again we have quite a variety. We have a light value for the sail, a little bit darker value for the sky, and a middle value for the water, and a darker value back in the tree. And there are other values in this painting. Now texture, the grass is pretty far away, so we don't see much texture. The texture's in the water, and everything has texture. Here the glossy water's texture reflects the houses and the vessels. And color, there's not a great variety of color, but there's a nice balance of color here. We have the blues and contrasting with the oranges and harmonizing with the greens. In this painting, line and direction are strong. However, the elements of shape and the contrast of value and color dominate. The element of color is not used in this picture, and the elements of line and shape are emphasized. All the tones or values here are made up of lines that are drawn very close together. I see a repetition of shape, and a repetition and contrast of value or tone, and of color, and there's a lot of texture in the water. The elements of design are what we see in a picture, what's visible to the eye. Now, we have the 7 elements. Everyone has the same elements to work with. Why do some pictures come out better than others? Well, let me give you an example. We say the elements are ingredients. Suppose I'm going to bake a cake. I have all the ingredients before me. I have flour, sugar, eggs, whatever it takes. So I mix my batter, concoct this, put it in the oven. And it doesn't come out too well because I'm not a good cook. But if a chef, an artist in this field, he has the same ingredients I have. And he puts them together and he comes out with a masterpiece. Why? It's the way he used the ingredients. Now let's see some of the ways we can use the ingredients in a composition. Let me begin with the element of line. Line can be the eye level here, the horizon line, loose, wavy, and now let me have a curved line here. Curved, direction, see the direction? And if we put those together, we end up with a shape, don't we? And another shape, and we have the shape of a boat there. Now, another line in another direction. And line here, and we can start adding tone or value. A shadow in the boat, and come along and improve it. So far we've used line, direction, shape, and tone. And they are developing into a picture. Out here we can use line again. It'll become a lighthouse, and I can use tone for shadow. Another line in direction. And we can suggest texture on the rocks here and in the reflection in the water. So if we have a seascape and we have buildings, here again we have line, direction, shape, tone, and texture. So in this demonstration, you can see the elements used, and there's no particular order to use them. I simply started off with a line because usually you establish an eye level. Now we can bring in color, the element of color, and that can be in great variety as the element of tone and line. and shape. Each one of these elements can appear in great varieties and sizes. Now we have size here because we have something up close to us here, and we have something further away which suggests to us distance or depth. And as I add color, I can bring the color into different parts of the picture, and I can repeat it. So there we have the use of the elements, developing into a design, and then, of course, into a picture.
Next time you go to a museum or look through books with pictures by artists, see how many elements of design you can find. Do you see lines? What kind of lines? What are the directions of the lines? What are the major shapes in the picture? How is size used to create the picture? Is there any color? What kinds of colors? Do you see any textures?
In this demonstration, I've used the 7 elements of design. You've seen line, direction, shape, size, value, texture, and color. I haven't talked about how I used them. I've just shown them being used. Now, how we use them are the principles of design, and that's another topic.
Now that you know the ingredients of every design, line, direction, size, shape, value, texture, and color, the next step is to learn how these basic tools are used to create a design. Drawing with Paul Ringler is produced by the Agency for Instructional Technology in association with the Oklahoma Educational Television Authority.